गुड मॉर्निंग फ्रेंड्स। आप सबों का बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन है। इस वीडियो में हम लोग बात करेंगे बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण करंट अफेयर से जुड़े हुए महत्वपूर्ण प्रश्न होंगे। उनका हिंदी में एक्सप्लेनेशन करूंगा, कोशिश करूंगा आपको हिंदी में समझाने का। हालांकि ये प्रश्न बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है आने वाले यूपीएससी ईपीएफओ के लिए। तो बने रहिए इस चैनल में, देखते रहिए, सीखते रहिए, आगे बढ़िए। ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर क्वेश्चन। तो पहला प्रश्न आपके स्क्रीन पर है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेशनल रिलीफ फंड के बारे में। प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेशनल रिलीफ फंड, it was established entirely with the public contribution and does not get any budgetary support. Is it right? Prime Minister National Relief Fund has been constituted by the Parliament and it is recognized as a trust under the Income Tax Act. Prime Minister is the chairman of the Prime Minister National Relief Fund and disbursement are made with his or her approval, which are the correct about given. ओके, आई थिंक दूसरा स्टेटमेंट बिल्कुल गलत है, तो 1 और 3 सही है। देखिए, प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेशनल रिलीफ फंड की स्थापना इंटायरली जो है वो पब्लिक कंट्रीब्यूशन के साथ ही नहीं है, ध्यान रहे, एंड डज नॉट गेट एनी बजटरी सपोर्ट। प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेशनल रिलीफ फंड की स्थापना पूरी की पूरी सार्वजनिक दान से चलती है। इसको किसी प्रकार का कोई बजट सपोर्ट नहीं दिया गया है। द कॉर्पस ऑफ द फंड इज इन्वेस्टेड इन वेरियस फॉर्म which with scheduled commercial banks and other agency। तो इसको सहायता कहाँ से, मतलब ये काम कैसे करेगा? तो ये जो फंड होगा वो इन्वेस्टेड किया जाएगा अलग अलग बैंकों में, शेड्यूल कमर्शियल बैंकों में, और भी जो इसके एजेंसीज हैं उसमें आप अपना पैसा जमा करा सकते हैं अगर आप मदद करना चाहते हैं तो। रही बात प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेशनल रिलीफ फंड की, जो कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूट नहीं किया गया है पार्लियामेंट के द्वारा, बल्कि द फंड इज रिकॉग्नाइज एज ए ट्रस्ट। ये एक ट्रस्ट है इनकम टैक्स एक्ट के तहत, और इसको मैनेज किया जाता है प्राइम मिनिस्टर के द्वारा, या फिर मल्टीपल डेलीगेट्स होते हैं इसके लिए। प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेशनल जो रिलीफ फंड है वो एक्सेप्ट करता है वॉलेंट्री कंट्रीब्यूशन फ्रॉम द इंडिविजुअल, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ट्रस्ट, कंपनीज, इंस्टीट्यूशन। हम लोग को भी देना चाहिए, अगर आप सक्षम है तो डेफिनेटली दीजिए, क्योंकि इस फंड के माध्यम से उन लोगों तक सहायता पहुंचेगी जो सुविध है। तीसरा स्टेटमेंट है कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर इसके चेयरमैन होते हैं। एब्सोल्युटली इज करेक्ट, क्योंकि प्राइम मिनिस्टर को सहायता देने के लिए हालांकि बॉडी होता है, स्टाफ होता है, लेकिन इसका जो चेयरमैन होता है वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर होते हैं। तो ऑन द बेसिस एंड डिसबर्समेंट आर मेड विद द अप्रूवल ऑफ प्राइम मिनिस्टर। तो अब प्राइम मिनिस्टर के अप्रूवल के बाद ही इसका पैसा कहीं यूज हो सकता है, क्योंकि प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी ने अभी एक्स क्राइटेरिया अनाउंस किया था, PMNRF फॉर द विक्टिम्स ऑफ मीसब इन मोरबी। जो मोरबी में जो कुछ हुआ आप जानते ही हैं, उस पुल के टूटने से बहुत ही त्रासदी हुई, कई लोग की जान चली गई। तो उनके विक्टिम के राहत के लिए प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेशनल रिलीफ फंड का इस्तेमाल किया जाएगा। कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट ऑब्जर्विंग सिस्टम। ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट ऑब्जर्विंग सिस्टम के बारे में पूछा जा रहा है। GCOS, it is co-sponsored by the World Meteorological Organization WMO and Intergovernmental Oceanography Commission IOC. It aims to ensure that the observation and information needed to address climate related issues are made available to the all potential users। तो सबसे पहले इसको स्पॉन्सर्ड या को स्पॉन्सर्ड किसने किया है? वी हैव टू बी नो अबाउट दैट, अबाउट क्लाइमेट ऑब्जर्विंग सिस्टम। ये ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट ऑब्जर्विंग सिस्टम का जो निर्माण है किसके द्वारा किया गया है, किस इसको स्पॉन्सर कौन कर रहा है? दूसरा स्टेटमेंट तो जनरल सी बात है, चलिए आई थिंक सी इज द राइट आंसर। देखिए, ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट ऑब्जर्विंग सिस्टम की स्थापना 1992 में की जाती है, जो कि सेकेंड वर्ल्ड क्लाइमेट कॉन्फ्रेंस का एक तरह से परिणाम है। टू इंश्योर द ऑब्जर्वेशन एंड द इंफॉर्मेशन needed to address the climate related issue and are often made available to the all potential users। कोई भी इसका यूज कर सकता है, जितने भी इसको ज़रूरत है। और ये जो जी ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट ऑब्जर्वेशन जो सिस्टम डेवलप किया गया है, इसको स्पॉन्सर्ड किया जा रहा है WMO के द्वारा और IOC के द्वारा। IOC क्या है? ये इंटर गवर्नमेंटल ओशनोग्राफी कमीशन है यूनेस्को का। द यूनाइटेड नेशन एनवायरनमेंट प्रोग्राम UNEP है, एंड इंटरनेशनल काउंसिल फॉर साइंस। तो बहुत से लोग हैं इसको मतलब फंडेड कर रहे हैं, को स्पॉन्सर कर रहे हैं। तो ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट ऑब्जर्वेशन सिस्टम रेगुलरली रिपोर्ट्स ऑन द एडिक्वेसी ऑफ द करंट क्लाइमेट ऑब्जर्विंग सिस्टम टू द यूनाइटेड नेशन फ्रेमवर्क कन्वेंशन ऑन क्लाइमेट चेंज। तो यूएनएफसी को लगातार ये रिपोर्ट करते रहता है कि ग्लोबल के संबंध में। तो ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट ऑब्जर्विंग सिस्टम कॉन्फ्रेंस अभी हाल में हुआ है। तो मे बी कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट अबाउट अमूर फाल्कन। अमूर फाल्कन के बारे में पूछा जा रहा है। अमूर फाल्कन is the longest flying migratory bird and mainly breeds in northeastern India. Amur falcon is protected under the Wildlife Protection Act and IUCN status is vulnerable. Which are the correct about Amur falcon? In नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न इलाका में बैठता है या वेस्टर्न इलाका में या ईस्टर्न इलाका में? चलिए, आई थिंक इट्स डी। कोई भी स्टेटमेंट इसमें सही नहीं दिया गया है। क्यों? क्योंकि अमूर फाल्कन जो है, जिसको एक स्मॉल रैप्टर है, बर्ड ऑफ प्रे of the falcon family. It's a small raptor. It is the longest flying migratory bird. Longest flying migratory bird and breeds in southern eastern India, Siberia, northern China। तो ये ब्रीड्स करता है कहाँ पर? साउथ ईस्टर्न साइबेरिया एंड नॉर्दर्न चाइना बिफोर माइग्रेटिंग इन अ लार्ज flock across India and over Arabian Sea to the winter in the southern and east Africa. Amur falcon is protected under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and listed for IUCN इसका लिस्ट कंसर्न है। बहुत ही मतलब चिंतित होने की कोई बात नहीं है, काफ़ी मात्रा में है। और वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट में भी इसको चौथी श्रेणी का दर्जा दिया गया, जिसका मतलब आसानी से अब कोई ज़्यादा सजा वजा नहीं है इसका। तो अमूर फाल्कन आना शुरू हो गया है मणिपुर में, लगभग 20,000 किलोमीटर ट्रैवलिंग करने के बाद। सोचिए, वो सारे साइबेरिया से आ रहा है और मणिपुर पहुंच चुका है। अल शबाब। अल शबाब एक मिलिटेंट ग्रुप है और ये कहाँ बेस्ड है? अल शबाब, यू नो, इट्स सोमालिया। अल शबाब, इट्स सोमालिया। अल शबाब एक इस्लामिक फंडामेंटलिस्ट जिहादिस्ट ग्रुप है और ये बेस्ड है सोमालिया में। और भी ईस्ट अफ्रीका का बहुत सा हिस्सा में उसका मतलब एक्टिव है, पार्टिसिपेशन है। इट इज़ एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व इन ऑनगोइंग सोमाली सिविल वार। जो सोमालिया में सिविल वार हो रहा है, उसको लीड कर रहा है ये लोग, अल शबाब। तो लगभग 100 लोगों को मार दिया गया इस टेररिस्ट के द्वारा। कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू जीनियोलॉजिकल DNA टेस्ट। जीनलॉजिकल या जीनियोलॉजिकल DNA टेस्ट के बारे में पूछा जा रहा है। Genealogical DNA test. The test looks at a specific location of a person's genome in order to estimate the ethnic mixture of individual. The mitochondrial DNA test can be taken by both the males and females, unlike Y-DNA test. Y-DNA and mtDNA test can be used for ethnicity estimates but cannot be used to find one's haplogroups. जीनियोलॉजिकल डीएनए टेस्ट के बारे में आप क्या जानते हैं? जीनियोलॉजिकल डीएनए टेस्ट, तीसरा स्टेटमेंट सोच लीजिए. लेट्स सी. ओनली एंड ओनली ए इज राइट. वन एंड टू इज राइट. यस. देखिए, जीनोलॉजिकल या जीनियोलॉजिकल टेस्ट और डीएनए टेस्ट, इट्स अ डीएनए बेस्ड टेस्ट. इट्स अ डीएनए बेस्ड used in genetic genealogy that looks at a specific location of a person's genome in order to find or verify ancestral genealogical relationship with lower reliability to estimate the ethnic mixture of individual. Ethnic mixture की जानकारी प्राप्त करने के लिए genealogical DNA test that will be sufficient. That is will okay. तो इसकी मदद से आप कर सकते हैं. रही बात MT DNA test. MT DNA test can be taken by both males and females. तो MT DNA test can be taken by both males and females because everyone inherits their mtDNA from their mothers. As the mitochondrial DNA is located in एक सेल, क्योंकि mitochondrial DNA जो होता है वो एक सेल में डिपेंड करता है और एक सेल तो महिलाओं के पास होता है. लेकिन however Y DNA test can only be taken by males. Y DNA test, क्योंकि Y तो पुरुष से आता है, तो Y DNA टेस्ट केवल और केवल टेकन किया जाता है मेल के द्वारा, एज ओनली मेल्स हैव अ Y क्रोमोजोम. यू नो अबाउट दैट क्रोमोजोम एक्स 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 वाई, ये जो लिंग निर्धारण करने के लिए होता है, ये किस में होता है और ये किस में होता है. यू नो अबाउट दैट, बचपन से लोग पढ़ते आ रहे हैं कैसे बनता है बच्चा. आई मीन लिंग निर्धारण कैसे होता है, माता का एक पुरुष का एक, क्योंकि ये तो दोनों एक्स ही देगा और ये ही निर्धारित करेगा. ये पिता है, पिता का कभी एक्स आ सकता है तो कभी वाई आ सकता है. तो यहाँ पर स्वाभाविक है, परमुटेशन कम्बिनेशन जानते ही हैं कितने चांसेस बनते हैं. या तो एक्स आ सकता है या तो एक्स वाई आ सकता है. बस यही दो चांसेस है, इसके अलावा थोड़ा और भी कोई चांसेस है. तो यू नो अबाउट दैट. वाई DNA and mtDNA cannot be used for ethnicity estimate. आप ethnicity estimate नहीं कर सकते वाई DNA mDNA से, but can be used to find out one haplogroup. हैप्लोग्रुप की जानकारी इससे ली जा सकती है वाई DNA और mDNA से, which is unevenly distributed geographically. mtDNA or Y DNA tests are utilized to identify archaeological culture and migration paths of a person. Y mtDNA और Y DNA का इस्तेमाल जो है जनरली आर्कोलॉजिकल कल्चर, माइग्रेशन पाथ, किसी व्यक्ति की उसके एंसेस्टर की जानकारी ली जा सकती है. तो माइग्रेशन पाथ ऑफ पर्सन्स एंसेस्टर अलोंग ए स्ट्रिक्ट मदर लाइन और ए स्ट्रिक्ट फादर लाइन. तो चिंता का क्या बात है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज वॉइस्ड कंसर्न ओवर इंक्रीजिंग यूज ऑफ डीएनए टेस्टिंग टू प्रूव अ केस. क्योंकि डीएनए टेस्टिंग जो है बहुत ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, जो कहीं ना कहीं एक तरह से निजता के खिलाफ भी है. Consider the following statements. Every member of a civil service, every member of a civil service in the state hold office during the pleasure of governor. The governor can act in his discretion in certain matters as permitted by the constitution. The governor of an Indian state can remove a minister on his own only or when she commits a grave constitutional act. Governor of an Indian state can remove a minister on his own only when she commits ग्रेव कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एक्ट ऐसा पावर तोड़ दिया गया है। चलिए बताइए, विच आर द करेक्ट अबाउट सिविल सर्विस के बारे में तो आप जानते हैं। पहला स्टेटमेंट ही आप पकड़ लीजिए तो सब आसानी से हो जाएगा। तो एक और दो सही है, तीसरा स्टेटमेंट गलत ही था। आर्टिकल नंबर 310 ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सेज एवरी पर्सन इन डिफेंस और सिविल सर्विस, एवरी पर्सन, और डिफेंस हो या फिर सिविल सर्विस हो। तो 310 की बात कर रहे थे। आर्टिकल 310 of India says that every person in the defense or civil service of the union holds office during the pleasure of the president, and every member of the civil service in the state holds office during the pleasure of the governor. अगर यूनियन में है तो प्लेजर प्रेसिडेंट का होगा, अगर वो स्टेट में है तो प्लेजर होगा गवर्नर का। सिविल सर्विस का हो या डिफेंस सर्विस का, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है। आर्टिकल 163 सब क्लोज 2 कहता है कि गवर्नर कैन एक्ट in his discretion in the certain matters as permitted by the constitution। आर्टिकल 163 तो खुद उसको पावर दे देता है गवर्नर को, उसके विशेष अधिकार का, उसके प्रिविलेज का। You know about that article 164, the chief minister is appointed by the governor or other minister appointed by the governor on the CM's advice। It aids, इसका क्या मतलब है? मिनिस्टर होल्ड ऑफिस ड्यूरिंग द प्लेजर ऑफ द गवर्नर। जितने भी मिनिस्टर है ना, इंक्लूडिंग चीफ मिनिस्टर, प्लेजर पे डिपेंडेंट होते हैं गवर्नर के। इन अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल स्कीम इन विच दे आर अपॉइंटेड solely on the CM's advice। ये CM के एडवाइस पे ही डिपेंडेंट करते हैं, ठीक है। द प्लेजर रेफर्ड टू इट इज ऑल्सो टेकन टू मीन दैट द राइट ऑफ द चीफ मिनिस्टर टू डिसमिस द मिनिस्टर। इसका क्या मतलब है? राइट ऑफ द चीफ मिनिस्टर टू डिसमिस द मिनिस्टर। मिनिस्टर को बाहर कर सकते हैं, निकाल सकते हैं, किसी को पोर्टफोलियो दे सकते हैं। जैसे प्रधानमंत्री के पास पावर है, उसी तरह चीफ मिनिस्टर के भी पावर है अपने राज्य के संबंध में। एंड नॉट द गवर्नर, ये गवर्नर के पास पावर नहीं है कि किसी भी मेंबर को जब चाहे तब हटा दे। इन शॉर्ट, गवर्नर ऑफ इंडियन स्टेट कैन नॉट रिमूव अ मिनिस्टर ऑन हिज ओन। गवर्नर अपने आप से, अपने मनमर्जी से किसी भी मिनिस्टर को नहीं हटा सकता जब तक कि मुख्यमंत्री ना चाहे। तो हुआ क्या है, केरल गवर्नर हैज सॉट अ डिसमिल ऑफ स्टेट finance minister from his cabinet, declaring that he was withdrawn the pleasure of having the council of minister। इसी कारण बस चर्चा में था। Consider the following statement with respect to electronic negotiable warehousing receipt ENWR। इलेक्ट्रॉनिक निगोशिएबल वेयरहाउस रिसिप्ट के बारे में पूछा जाला। दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इलेक्ट्रॉनिक निगोशिएबल वेयरहाउसिंग कैन बी traded through the off market or on market in the commodity exchange platform। FCI यानी फूड कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया regulates the entire operation of NWR। चलिए, केवल इसका एक सही है। All electronic negotiable warehouse receipt be traded through off market or on market in the commodity exchange platform। कोई भी ई negotiable warehousing can be auctioned under the certain condition such as loan repaid, not repaid, or expiry, and delivery not taken, and unlikely damage or spoilage of the commodity in the warehouse। E-negotiable can be transferred fully or in a part। चाहे तो पूरा दे दीजिए या तो छोटा छोटा टुकड़ा करके दीजिए। वेयर हाउसिंग डेवलपमेंट रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी, वाड्रा, वड्रा। Warehousing Development and Regulatory Authority regulates the entire operation under negotiable warehousing receipt। This has been enabled This has been enabled by enabling the financing warehousing received through the Warehouse Act. इसको ये पावर वड्रा को पावर दिया गया है वार हाउस एक्ट के द्वारा. Warehousing Development and Regulatory Authority WDRA organized a seminar on e-negotiable warehouse receipt, an effective tool for promoting pledge financing. Considered the following statement with respect to World Cities Days. World Cities Days was designated by UN Habitat and a global observance is held in a different city each year. It aims to promote the international community interest in global urbanization and sustainable development. Urban sustainable development. वर्ल्ड सिटीज डेज क्यों मनाया जाता है और इसको डेजिग्नेट किसने किया था? सबसे अच्छी बात है. चलिए, इसका सही जवाब केवल बी है, क्योंकि इसका डेजिग्नेशन किसी और ने किया है. यूनाइटेड नेशन जनरल असेंबली यूएनजीए यूनाइटेड नेशनल जनरल असेंबली ने 31 अक्टूबर को वर्ल्ड सिटीज डे मनाने की बात कर चुके हैं एज अ वर्ल्ड हैबिटेट डे, विथ वर्ल्ड हैबिटेट डे के साथ ग्लोबल ऑब्जर्वेंस. तो यूनाइटेड नेशन जनरल असेंबली के द्वारा ये घोषणा किया जा चुका है कि हम लोग 31 अक्टूबर को वर्ल्ड सिटीज डे मनाएंगे. किसके साथ? वर्ल्ड हैबिटेट डे के साथ. A global observance is held in different city each year, and the day focus on a specific theme. The day is expected to greatly promote the international community's interest in the global urbanization, push forward of cooperation among countries in meeting opportunities, addressing the challenges of urbanization, and contributing to sustainable urban development around the world. दुनिया में जो सिटीज़ है उन सिटीज़ का विकास सस्टेनेबल तरीके से हो, उसी को ध्यान में रखने के लिए इसको लाया गया. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू गंगाज रिवर डॉल्फिन. गंगा रिवर डॉल्फिन is a freshwater species and has been recognized as a national aquatic animal of India. They are known to do acrobatic maneuvers when they are distressed and use echolocation to find food. Supreme Court of India granted non-human personhood these dolphins, which prevent that captivity for entertainment. Non-human personhood. Which are the correct? 1, 2. Only and only one. क्योंकि देखिए, गंगेटिक डॉल्फिनी इज फ्रेश वाटर स्पीसीज एंड has been recognized as India's national aquatic animal. It is officially the animal of the Indian city of Guwahati. Ganga's river dolphin usually comes in pairs, or they just single and are not known to do acrobatic maneuver near boats when they are distressed. It is little is known about their behavior because they are usually shy around the boats and are hard to observe. Ganga's rivers dolphin use echolocation to find food. India's Ministry of Environment and Forest declared dolphins non-human person, and as the such forbidden their captivity for entertainment purpose. Keeping dolphin in captivity must satisfy certain legal prerequisites. Dolphins have started coming back to the Ganga River with improvement in the quality of its water through the Namami Ganga program. Next question is Dinococcus radiodurans. Dinococcus radiodurans, a bacteria seen in news recently. Find uses. इसका क्या यूज होगा? Dinococcus radiodurans, bioremediation, synthesis of precious metal, nitrification, vaccine development, space research. I think it's a 1, 2, and 5. 1, 2, and 5. Dinococcus radiodurans is a extreme folic bacterium and one of the most radiation resistant organism. It can survive cold, dehydration, vacuum, acid, and therefore it is known as polyextremophile. Polyextremophile. Extremophile. Dinococcus radiodurans been genetically modified for bioremediation application. A nanotechnological application of Dinococcus radiodurans in synthesis of silver and gold. Researchers simulated the harsh ionizing radiation on Mars in a new study where the Dinococcus found could potentially survive close to the surface of the planet much longer than the previously thought. They have been used in the vaccine development and nitrification act. अभी use करना बाकी है. The bacteria has been used due to the research which proves their extreme resistance. Why planet called why is a planet why is a plant called Sena suspectival? The often mentioned in news. Sena spectabilis expectabilis. It is an reduce the area. Sena is the sea. It is known to reduce the biodiversity in the area where it is grown. Yes. Sena spectabilis was introduced as an ornamental species and for use as a firewood from South and Central America. The species has become highly invasive in the Sigur Plateau in both core and buffer zones of MTR. Over the last few years, its bright yellow flowers have become more visible across the tiger reserve. Conservationists say the invasive weeds has a negative effect on local biodiversity, crowding out native species and limiting food availability for worldwide. Sena spectabilis, along with Lanenta camara, is among the 5 major invasive weeds that have taken over vast swathes of Nilgiris. Wattle being of the other major wattle being the other major invasive species. Consider the following statement with respect to National Technical Textile Mission. National Technical Textile Mission. National Technical Textile Mission is launched by Ministry of Textile to aims to position India as a global leader in technical textile. The mission included projects from stability fibers, smart textile, geotextile, agrotextile. इसका मिनिस्ट्री सही है कि नहीं बताइए. Yes, sir, ministries both are correct. National Technical Textile Mission. National Technical Textile Mission was launched by Ministry of Textile for a period of 4 years with an outlay of something. The aim of the mission is to position India as a global leader in textile sector, technical textile. The mission recently approved from 5 projects, especially fibers, 6 project agro textile, smart textile, protect protective gear and apparel from geotextile, active wear apparels, strategic application area, sport textile. Consider the following statement with respect to nutrient-based subsidy scheme. Nutrient-based subsidy scheme. A fixed amount of subsidy decided on a seasonal basis is provided on the nutrient content present in them. It covers nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, sulfur, phosphatic, potassic, and urea fertilizer. It is being implemented by the Department of Fertilizer, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. न्यूट्रिएंट बेस्ड सब्सिडी स्कीम किस मंत्रालय के द्वारा इम्प्लीमेंट किया जा रहा है? लेट्स सी, डी इज द राइट, कोई भी सही नहीं दिया हुआ है. अंडर नेस NBS, a fixed amount of subsidy decided on annual basis is provided on each grade of subsidized phosphatic and potassic fertilizer except for urea based on the nutrient content present in them. Nutrient-based subsidy scheme covers various nutrients, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, sulfur, phosphatic, potassic fertilizer. It does not cover urea. Which remain outside the NBS. It is being implemented by the April 2010 by the Department of Fertilizer, Ministry and Chemical Fertilizer. Department of Fertilizer and Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizer. Cabinet approves nutrient-based subsidy rates for phosphatic and potassic fertilizer. Rabi season 22 from 1st October 2022 to 21st March 2023 with the reference to the ethanol blending petrol program. Ethanol blended petrol program. Consider the following. Ethanol can be procured from B heavy molasses, C heavy molasses, and sugar cane juice under this program. This program extends to whole of the India and promotes the use of alternative and environmentally friendly fuels. Ethanol blending program, you know about that? A is the right answer. Let's see. First time during the ethanol supply year 2018-19, the raw material, the apart from C molasses, heavy molasses को छोड़कर, were allowed for ethanol production like B heavy molasses, sugar cane juice, sugar syrup, damaged food grains like wheat, rice unfit for human consumption. इनसे बनाया जा सकता है, लेकिन C molasses का इस्तेमाल नहीं किया जाएगा. C heavy molasses का इस्तेमाल नहीं किया जा सकता अभी तक, उसके तहत कवर नहीं है. Government has been implementing ethanol blending petrol program wherein OMCs sells petrol blended with ethanol up to 10%. This program has been extended to the whole of the India except Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Island. This intervention also seeks to reduce the import dependency for energy requirements and give boost to agriculture sector. Cabinet approves mechanism for procurement of ethanol by public sector oil marketing companies under ethanol blending petrol program. A revision of ethanol price for supply of the public sector OMCs for ethanol supply year. कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू संघाई कोऑपरेशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एससीओ के बारे में पूछा जा रहा है। एससीओ, द काउंसिल ऑफ द हेड्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट is the supreme decision making body of SCO, which meets once a year. Once a year. Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure Rates Executive Committee is a permanent organ of the SCO which serves promote cooperation against separatism. The organization has observer and dialogue partner across the three continents. Which are the correct about SCO? रेट्स तो एंटी टेररिस्ट स्ट्रक्चर है जिसका एग्जीक्यूटिव कमिटी क्या कार्य करता है, क्या फंक्शन उसका, कॉपरेशन के खिलाफ, मतलब आई मीन सेपरेटिज्म के खिलाफ काम करना है। क्या ये इसके जो ऑब्जर्वर और डायलॉग पार्टनर है वो 3 कॉन्टिनेंट में फैले हुए हैं? चलिए बताइए। आई थिंक यू नो अबाउट दैट, बी द राइट आंसर। 2 और 3 सही है, क्योंकि इसकी जो मीटिंग होती है तो जो हेड ऑफ द स्टेट काउंसिल इज द सुप्रीम डिसीजन मेकिंग बॉडी ऑफ एससीओ। इसका जो हेड्स ऑफ द स्टेट काउंसिल, it means once a year, and adopts the decision and guidelines on all important matters of the organization. The Council of Head of the Governments is the second highest council. Council of Head of Governments जो है वो second highest council है. The council also holds annual summit at which time to time members discuss issue multilateral cooperation. The council also approves organization budget. The Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure Rates Executive Committee, headquartered in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, is a permanent organ of SCO which serves to promote cooperation by member states against the three evils of the terrorism, separatism, and extremism. The director of the SCO Rates Executive Committee is elected a 3-year term. तो डायरेक्टर ऑफ SCO रेट्स का जो होता है 3 साल के लिए चयन होता है, 3 years के लिए। 4 observer state of SCO. 4 observer state of SCO are Afghanistan, Belarus, Iran, Mongolia, Tunisia, and Europe, and Egypt. Africa recently became a dialogue partner. The others are Armenia, Azerbaijan, Cambodia, Egypt, Nepal, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Sri Lanka, and Turkey also. चूंकि एचसीओ के मीट हुआ है अभी चाइना में और अगला मीटिंग भारत में होने वाला है। Consider the following statement with respect to coronal holes. Coronal holes. These are the regions on the sun's surface where radiation is absorbed from the solar atmosphere. It is absorbed. The holes are a unique phenomenon which appears rarely in the sun's solar cycle. क्या पहला स्टेटमेंट काटी है, दूसरा स्टेटमेंट भी काटी है क्योंकि दोनों गलत है। These are the region on the sun's surface from where the fast solar winds gooses out into the space. इससे निकल के बाहर जाता है एनर्जी स्पेस में, इस सन का स्पोर्ट्स रहेगा तो। Because they contain little solar material, they have a lower temperature and thus appear much darker. Lower temperature, much darker than surrounding के तुलना में. The magnetic field is open interplanetary space, sending solar material out in high speed stream of solar winds. High speed solar winds भेजता है बहुत फास्ट, क्योंकि इसका मैग्नेटिक जो स्ट्रेंथ है वो बहुत खतरनाक है। सोलर मटेरियल आउट इन हाई स्पीड, ठीक है। कोरोनल होल्स कैन लास्ट बिटवीन फ्यू वीक्स टू मंथ, फ्यू वीक्स 1 सप्ताह से 2 सप्ताह और 1 महीना तक रह सकता है। Holes are not a unique phenomenon appearing throughout the sun. It's not a unique phenomenon appearing throughout the sun's approximately 11 years solar cycle. They can last much longer during a solar minimum. अच्छा, solar minimum क्या होता है? A period of time when the activity of sun is substantially diminished according to NASA. सोलर मिनिमम का मतलब होता है जब सोन की एक्टिविटी घट जाती है. A phenomenon called coronal holes was recently spotted on Sun. With the reference to the ballistic missile defense BMD interceptor AD-1 missile, consider the following. AD-1 missile के बारे में पूछा जा रहा है. AD-1, it is a intermediate range interceptor missile propelled by two-stage solid motor. It is designed for both low atmospheric and indo-atmospheric interception. दोनों के लिए तैयार किया गया. इसको क्या? AD-1 ballistic missile defense BMD interceptor. AD-1 missile. Which are the correct? Okay, I think it's B is the right answer. AD-1 is a long range interceptor. It's a long range. It's a long range interceptor. Missile propelled by a two-stage solid motor and equipped with indigenously developed by advanced control system, navigation, guidance, algorithm to precise guide to vehicle the target that move at a very high speeds. It is designed for both low exo-atmospheric and indo-exo-atmospheric interception, a long-range ballistic missile as well as aircraft. India successfully tested ballistic missile defense interceptor capable of neutralizing long-range adversary missiles. अब बड़ा इंडिया को ठोको तुम कोई. इधर से लॉन्ग रेंज बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल ही छोड़ेगा AD-1. ठीक है, देगा AD. ये भी इस भारत के पास भी अब इंडिजिनसली स्वदेशी बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल डिफेंस सिस्टम तैयार हो चुका है. Consider the following statement with respect to clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. CRISPR CS9 के बारे में पूछा जा रहा है. CRISPR CS9 टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में. CS9. CRISPR is a family of DNA sequences found in the genomes of eukaryotic organisms such as animal and plant. CS9 enzyme act as a molecular seizures to cut DNA at a location specified by a guided RNA and binds to the target DNA. CRISPR CS9 technology does not work at a very low temperature and disengage from the cleaved DNA product after the enzyme does the job. दूसरा स्टेटमेंट तो जनरल है, इसलिए आप केवल बी ही जाइए, क्योंकि क्रिस्पर का फुल फॉर्म होता है क्लस्टर्ड रेगुलरली इंटरस्पेस्ड short palindromic repeats. Are the short CRISPR are the short DNA sequence found in the genome of prokaryotic organisms such as bacteria, which are the reminders of the previous bacteriophage. Bacteriophage means a virus attacks the bacteria, successfully defended against. CS9 enzyme acts as a molecular seizure to cut DNA at a location specified by a guide RNA, can bind and cut the target DNA at a very low temperature. CRISPR CS9 CRISPR associated protein 9 is an enzyme that uses CRISPR sequences as a guide to recognize and cleavage specific strands of DNA that are complementary to the CRISPR sequence. Scientists of Raman Research Institute (RRI) demonstrated that Cas9 enzymes strongly bind to the target at a very low temperature and remains bound to a cleaved DNA products even after the enzyme has done its job. Indian scientists have demonstrated for the first time that the associated CS9 enzymes can bind to and cut the target DNA at a very low temperature. तो CS9 अब प्रोमाइज किया चुका है कि ये डीएनए को आसानी से काट सकता है, डीएनए सीक्वेंसिंग को वेरी लो टेम्परेचर पर भी. पनारमाम हारोनोरी हेरोनोरी क्या है? पानामरम पानामरम या पनामरम Panamarum heronuri is famous breeding site for herons is located in herons located in Sasi, Kerala. Pana Panamaram heronuri is one of the largest mixed species heronuri in Kerala, an important site for breeding 9 species of water birds, which includes species like black-headed ibis, purple heron, large erget, median erget, little erget, egret, pond heron, night heron, little cormorant. The heronry is formed on the sandbank on the Panamaram River. पानामरम रिवर जो है वो केरला में है. पानामरम और heronry, the largest breeding ground of the different species of the herons in the Malabar region, is set to get a fresh lease of life. Consider the following statement regarding disqualification of elected representatives. 10th schedule of the Constitution contains detailed provisions aimed to decriminalize electoral politics. The Election Commission has the power to either remove or reduce the period of person's disqualification. Protection of Civil Rights Act, Custom Act, Income Tax Act are the categories of offense that entail the disqualification regardless of the period of the punishment. No, इलेक्शन कमीशन के पास ऐसा पावर कहाँ दिया गया है 10th शेड्यूल के संबंध में? It's दो is absolutely correct. डिटेल प्रोविजन तो नहीं दिया है, ठीक है, एक को छाट दें, तीसरा भी गलत है. देखिए सेक्शन 8 ऑफ द रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल एक्ट 1951 कंटेंस to decriminalize electoral politics. Representation of People Act itself provides a remedy through the Election Commission. Under the Act, the Election Commission may record, reason, and either remove or reduce the period of a person's disqualification. Election Commission exercised this power for Sikkim Chief Minister for P.S. Tamang, who served a 1-year sentence for corruption and reduced his disqualification so as to contest a by-election and remain in office. This is against special law such as the Protection of Civil Rights Act, Custom Act, Unlawful Activities Act, Law Prevention of Sati, corruption, terrorism, and insult to the national flag and national anthem are among the categories of offense that entail disqualification regardless of the period of the punishment. Income tax does not fall under this ambit. हालांकि इसमें income tax नहीं आता है. Recently, 2 legislators from UP were convicted of a criminal charges and one of them has been disqualified from the state assembly. Consider the following statement with respect to Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORM, IORA, IORA. Indian Ocean Rim Association, it is a regional forum bringing together the representative of government, business, academia, Western Indian Ocean Marines Association, a Science Association, and Indian Ocean Naval Symposium have observed stated the IORA at IORA. IORA's apex body is a council of foreign minister which meets annually. Indian Ocean Rim Association, which are the correct only and only C 1 and 3. The Indian Ocean Rim Association is an international organism consisting of 23 states bordering the Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean Rim Association is a regional forum, tripartite in nature, bringing together representatives of the government, business, academia for promoting cooperation and closer interaction among them. Indian Ocean Rim Association groups to Indian Ocean Research Group IORG and the Western Indian Ocean Marine Science Association, Western Western Indian Ocean Marine Science Association, WIOMASA, are the observer at IORA. IORA apex body is a council of foreign minister. IORA's apex body is the council of foreign minister which meets annually. A committee of senior official CSO meets twice a year to progress IORA agenda and consider recommendation by working groups from of officials, businesses, and academics to implement the policy and the projects to improve the lives of the people within the Indian Ocean state. Consider the following: polymer reinforcement, photocatalysis, drug carriers, road paving, sunscreen. Which of the above mentioned application can be performed using nanoparticles? तो नैनोपार्टिकल्स का इस्तेमाल करके क्या क्या किया जा सकता है? सनस्क्रीन का इस्तेमाल, रोड पेविंग, ड्रग कैरियर्स, फोटो कैटलाइसिस, पॉलीमर रेनफोर्समेंट. तो एक दो तीन पाँच, एक तीन पाँच, all the above. Clay nanoparticle, when incorporated into the polymer matrix, increase the reinforcement, leading to the stronger plastic, verifiable by the higher glass transition, temperature, and other mechanical properties tests. Nanoparticles can be dispersed into the transparent media without affecting its transparency at those wavelengths. This property is exploited in many applications such as photocatalysis, asphalt modification through nanoparticles can be considered as an interesting low-cost technique in asphalt pavement engineering, providing a novel perspective in making asphalt material more durable. Nanoscale particles are used in biomedical applications as a drug carrier or imaging contrast agents in microscopy. Anisotropic nanoparticles are a good candidate in biomolecular detection. Titanium dioxide nanoparticles impart what is known as a self-cleaning effect, which is which lends useful water repellent and antibacterial properties to the paints and other products. As a part of ongoing Government of India initiative Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the Indian Journal of Biochemistry and Biophysics and CSIR, National Institute of Science and Communication and Policy Research, New Delhi, has brought out its November 2022 issue as a special issue on the theme Nanoparticles, Emerging Trends in Human Health and Environment. Mauna Loa volcano seen news where it is located. It's a very easy. It's a B is the right answer. Mauna Loa is one of the 5 volcanoes that together make up a big island of Hawaii, which is the southernmost island in the Hawaiian archipelago. It is the tallest Mauna Kea, but it is the largest. It is not the tallest. It is not the tallest, but it is the largest, and makes up about half of the island's landmass. Mauna Loa last erupted 38 years ago. US Geological Survey Hawaiian Volcano Observatory said that Mauna Loa continues to be in a state of heightened unrest and could erupt. With the reference to the Cody gold nanoparticles, Cody gold nanoparticles, consider the following. Cody gold nanoparticles could make drug delivery in the human body slower and surer. Cody Cordyceps militaris parasitic fungus used in the manufacture of these nanoparticles is found extensively in Eastern Ghats. Not in Eastern Ghats. I think D is the right answer. Both the statements are correct. नहीं है, incorrect है. Cardigold या Cordigold nanoparticles core AUNPS is the outcome of collaborative experiment by the scientists from the Thor Indian Institution has earned as an international patent from Germany. Cordigold. These cordigold nanoparticles derived from the synthesis of the extract of the Cordyceps militaris and gold salts could make drug delivery in the human body faster and surer, not slower, it's a faster and surer. Cordyceps militaris is a high value parasitic fungus. High value parasitic fungus is called super mushroom because of its tremendous medicinal properties, its bioactive components to synthesize of a gold nanoparticles with better penetration. Gold salt are ionic chemical compounds of a gold generally is used in medicine. Wild cordyceps mushroom is found in the eastern Himalayan belt. ईस्टर्न हिमालयन बेल्ट में मिलता है. Assam Bodoland University is a part of the collaborative research on fungus powered fungus powered biosynthesis nanogold particles that has received an international patent from Germany. Consider the following statement with respect to the World Network of Biosphere Reserve. They are the UNESCO designated and created under the Main in Biosphere program. The governments, along with academia and citizens group, decide on nomination of biosphere reserve. Brazil has the highest number of biosphere reserve in the world, which are correct about Main and biosphere network of biosphere reserve. वर्ल्ड नेटवर्क ऑफ बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व के बारे में पूछा जा रहा है. पहला स्टेटमेंट, दूसरा स्टेटमेंट, फर्स्ट ओनली एंड फर्स्ट. यस. यूनेस्को वर्ल्ड नेटवर्क ऑफ बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व WNBR covers internationally designated protected areas known as biosphere reserve, which are meant to demonstrate a balanced relationship between the people and the nature, encourage sustainable development. They are created under the Main and Biosphere Reserve program. Governments alone decide which areas to nominate. Government alone decide which areas to nominate before approval by UNESCO. The sites are extremely examined. If approved, they will be managed based on plan reinforced by credibility checks while remaining under the sovereignty of their national government. Spain has the highest number of biosphere reserves of the world. November 3 will be the first International Day of Biosphere Reserve. 3 नवंबर को इंटरनेशनल बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व डे मनाया जाएगा. 2022 से शुरू किया जा चुका 3 नवंबर को. Consider the following statement with respect to Office of Governor. There is no provision in the Constitution for impeaching the governor. The governor holds office during the pleasure of the president and his removal cannot be questioned in any court of law. Of course, both the statements are correct. Incorrect नहीं है भैया, तो दूसरा incorrect है. क्वेश्चन तो किया ही जा सकता है ना. The term of governor's office is normally 5 years, but it can be terminated earlier. If the pledge is withdrawn before the completion of the 5 years term, the governor has to be stepped down. While the governor's duties and responsible lie in the particular state, there is no provisions for impeaching the governor. Dismissal of governors without a valid reason is not permitted. Dismissal of a governor without a valid reason is not permitted. However, it's a duty of the president to dismiss the governor whose acts are upheld by the courts as unconstitutional and malified. In BP Singhal versus Union of India 2010, the Supreme Court upheld that no limitation, no restriction are placed on the pleasure at the pleasure doctrine, but the power to remove can be exercised in arbitrary, capricious or unreasonable manner. 2010 के बीपी सिंगल वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया केस में स्पष्ट रूप से सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कह दिया है कि अगर ये रिमूवल आर्बिट्री हो, कैप्रिशियस हो, अनरीजनेबल हो, दैट कुड बी एग्जाम. तमिलनाडु गवर्नमेंट has started a petition to remove Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi. Dance and state consider the following pairs. रथ राउत नाच लिखा है, राउत नाच छत्तीसगढ़, राउत नाटी उत्तराखंड, फुगडी पंजाब, धुमहल सिक्किम, which are the correctly matched. I think UPSC pattern, it's a very tough question. If you know, if you know. If you don't know, you don't know. I think A, only one pair. Raut Nach. Raut Nach is from Chhattisgarh. Natti is a Himachal Pradesh. Fugadi, Goa. Dhumal, Dhumhal, Dumhal is Jammu and Kashmir. Artists from across the world took part in the third edition of the National Tribal Dance Festival in Raipur, Chhattisgarh. Consider the following statement with respect to India's infrastructure development project. India's Infrastructure Projects Development Fund IIPDF scheme. India Infrastructure Project Development Fund is a central sector scheme will providing fund support to projects both in the central and state government. The scheme was initial corpus 100 crore which would be supplemented through the budgetary support. Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade will provide support function to examine the application received for assistance under the IIPDF, which are the correct. Okay, only one. It is a central sector scheme course which will aid the development quality PPP projects by providing necessary funding support to the projects sponsoring authorities both in the central and the state government. The corpus of the IIPDF cell comprises of an initially budgetary outlay of 100 crore by the Ministry of Finance. This would be supplemented should it become necessary through the budgetary support by the Finance Ministry from time to time. The public-private partnership sale of the DEA will provide support function examining the application received from assistant under the IIPDF. Department of Economic Affairs DEA, Ministry of Finance, Government of India notified a scheme for financial support for the project development expenses of PPP project in India. Infrastructure Project Development Fund IIPDF scheme. Consider the following statement with respect to Syama Prasad Mukherjee Urban Mission SPMRM. Syama Prasad Mukherjee's Urban Mission scheme aims to bridge the rural-urban divide with respect to economic, technological, and those related to facilities and services. It is a centrally sponsored scheme which is now shared between the center and states in the ratio 60-40 for the plain area and 70-25 ratio for the Himalayan and Northeast states. The cluster under the mission are divided into tribal, non-tribal depending on which process of selection takes place. Options are given. Oh, only and only 1 and 3 is right. Objective of the Syama Prasad Mukherjee Urban Urban Mission SPMRM is to stimulate local economic development, enhance basic services, create well-planned urban cluster, and to bridge the rural-urban divide with respect to economic, technological, and those related the facilities and services. Upon being reclassified as a centrally sponsored scheme, this is now shared between center and state in the ratio 60-40 for the plain and 90-10 for the Himalayan and Northeast states. There will be two categories of cluster under SPMRM. Non-tribal, tribal process. The process of the selection will vary for each of these categories. While selecting the rural cluster, the state may identify a large village, a gram panchayat that grows centers with resources available in the area that could potentially lead to the economic transformation of the region. These growth centers could also be a block headquarter villages, a census town. The cluster then be formed by identifying geographically contiguous village or gram panchayat within a radius of 5 to 10 km around the identified growth center. Context क्या है? Ajwal Mizoram becomes the first cluster to be completed under the Syama Prasad Mukherjee urban mission. With the reference to the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, consider the following. UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is a landmark or area with a legal protection by an international convention administered by UNESCO. A nominated site must meet at least one of the 10 selection criteria to be listed as a World Heritage Site. The nominated sites are evaluated by the World Heritage Committee, which makes recommendation to the UNESCO for designation. UNESCO World Heritage Sites. चलिए सेकंड उनको गोली मारी है, पहला और दूसरा ही सही है, तीसरा गलत है. ठीक है, वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइट is a landmark or area with a legal protection by an international convention administered by UNESCO under the UNESCO World Heritage Convention established in 1972. The sites are designated by the UNESCO for having cultural, historical, scientific, or other forms significance. There are 10 selection. There are 10 selection criteria. A site must meet at least one to be included on the list. The nominated sites are evaluated by the International Council of Monuments and Sites and the World Conservation Union. A country may not nominate sites that have not been first included on its tentative list. The two international bodies make recommendation to the World Heritage Committee for a new designation. The committee meets once a year to determine what nominated properties to add the World Heritage list. Context: a third of the glacier on the UNESCO World Heritage Site list are under threat, according to the study conducted by the UN body. Apis Carinjodian, CNN News. Apis Carinjodian. And what is this? Apis coryndogium. It's a butterfly. It's a honeybee. It's a honeybee. A new species of endemic honeybee named Apis coryndogium or Indian black honeybee has been discovered in the Western Ghats, taking the species of the honeybee in the world 11. The distribution of Apis coryndogium, Indian black honeybee, ranges from the west central Western Ghats to the Nilgiri and to the southern Western Ghats, covering the state of Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. A new species of the endemic honeybee has been discovered in the Western Ghats. तो देखते रहिए, सीखते रहिए, आगे बढ़ते रहिए, कभी हार मत मानो, आज कठिन है, कल और भी बदतर होगा, लेकिन परसों तो धूप खिलेगी, ये तय है। बने रहिए चैनल में। धन्यवाद।